right. Always a little surprise. So good morning. It is Thanksgiving week. How are y'all doing out there? I'm going to switch over here for a quick second. You'll see me move my eyes over because I want to make sure that I can see your comments. And I'm going to put my first little comment here so that we can all say good morning to each other. And I know you have so many things to do. This is probably so we have 2 days till Thanksgiving. So you may be going to the grocery store or several, depending on what you have going on. So check in and tell me who you are and where do you live. I love seeing that. Oh, yay. Hello, Kathy. Happy Turkey Week. Yes, yes, yes. So Kathy, are you having family over or are you going to one of your kids this year? I don't know what your usual routine. And after our 7, 8 years together, I probably should know your normal Thanksgiving routine, those things that you do. So should I say the word, are you cooking? Oh my gosh. Sherry, good morning and happy Thanksgiving to you. Nice to see you. Just always so happy to see you when you're on here. And we have others that check in, takes a little bit. They get out of one meeting or something, or just getting checked in for the morning, especially if we have any of the gals out in Las Vegas. It's very early, 7:30 in the morning for them. So, and that's been certainly a different change for me. I'm used to all these past years being at 7:30 in the morning, and now it's at 9:30. I actually have time to relax and have my coffee. So I'm going to say one of the things that's starting off the day that I am grateful for is, let's see, can y'all see it? Oh, you might not be able to. QT. You know, these QT stores are something else. Now, I know I've been in Kansas City before and all of that, but I think this summer when we were here, we realized that there we go. QT is everywhere and they are so consistently good. I've never been in a bad one. The people are always friendly. They're very efficient. They just ring you up really fast. And this is, I'm not much of a coffee drinker, and this is actually more like hot chocolate, but this is Mighty Mocha. And Bill was so sweet. He went out this morning and was out doing another errand and came home with this. So like, yeah, I love it. It's yummy. Oh, Sherry. So 3 of your 4 kids have worked there and 2 still do. Do they seem to be good employers? I don't know if I should talk about that online, but I'm giving them a kudos because I think they're great. If you've never been to QT, find one close to you and go. Now, I think they're just Midwest. I've never seen them outside of here. I don't know this is just Kansas City. I don't think so, but more Midwest, but they certainly don't have them out in Vegas. Now, y'all want me to tell you what the name of the ones in Vegas? It's a similar kind of thing, but they're not nearly as good as QT. I'm just going to say. It's a family name, and they're called, are you ready for this? They're called Terribles. I know, there was a family name, but it's Terribles, gas stations and place similar, with the snacks and everything like QT. But the name just always gets me. Like, do you want to go to Terribles because it's terrible? I don't know. Anyway, and then there was also Fabulous Freddy's. So you could go to Fabulous Freddy's. That was a little better on the name situation. And they also had car wash. Aren't you happy to find out this great information? So if you ever go out to Las Vegas or out to the West Coast, or Vegas in particular, or Nevada, you'll see those particular things. So let me see here, Sherry. Oh, wow. The 2 are managers, daughter who's a teacher and works there on the weekends. Wow, that's pretty impressive. I know there's a lot of people that because of their various schedules, need a place to work just part-time that can work around children in school. Alicia, her kids now, like Henry, actually she has Henry who's in kindergarten, and then Alana, who is a junior, and their schedules are different, of course, but Henry goes to school now at 7:30 in the morning. Now, I guess the thing you can be grateful about that is that he's also out at 2:30. Okay. So today we're talking about being grateful, and, it's Thanksgiving week. And so as we talk about that, sometimes you're looking at it's like, oh my gosh, my kindergarten has to be at school at 7:30, 7:35, somewhere right in there. Alana doesn't go till 8:15, and then she doesn't get out till 3 something. So Alicia spends the first 30, 45 minutes of the morning and then in the afternoon getting them back and forth to school. So if because she's talked about maybe she'd get a job just because it would give her, a little getting out of the house time and to meet some people. So the finding a part-time job that you could fit in between 9 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, there's still a fair amount of time. But in any case, that was my kudos shout out to QT this morning. So ladies, as we're chatting this morning, tell me, okay, let's first do a little poll and tell me yes or no, are you cooking for Thanksgiving? Okay, so it could be even taking a dish to somebody else's house or cooking the whole main meal. So if you're cooking this year for Thanksgiving, can you put a yes in there? And if you're not, say no. That means that somebody else is cooking for you. And if you're going out, sometimes that's nice. We've done that a few years where we went out for Thanksgiving. One of our best ones was in Vegas at a place called T-Bones. Fabulous, fabulous place and food. And they're not normally open during the day. They're just an evening restaurant with the best steaks in the world. Just wonderful. But they had a Thanksgiving lunch and dinner started at 2 in the afternoon. And it was so wonderful. And we were treated so well. So sometimes you have to mix it up a little bit. And Thanksgiving has become the holiday where we are not together very often. We really, really make a point to be together at Christmas or sometime a little before or after or on Christmas, whatever that looks like. But the really cool thing this year is, and I might have mentioned this last week, that Justin is going up to Wisconsin and spend Thanksgiving with Alicia. And that is something I'm really thankful for. I just love it that they are close enough that they want to be together, that he's taken his 2 kids, his 2 little ones, up there to be with her. And they are 5, actually they're now 5, 5, and 3, because August Rain just turned 5 and Henry's been 5 for about 6 months. They're only 6 months apart. So the little ones. And then Emily, I'm thankful for her as my daughter-in-law. She's a great mom, and she's on her way to, and I forget the country. I think it's Dominican Republic, because her daughter, and my step-granddaughter is doing a study program from Creighton University. She's down there with her school, and Katrie and Emily decided to fly down there and spend Thanksgiving with her. So Emily's flying the friendly skies, and she's down there, and then Justin taking the 2 kids, the little ones, to Alicia. So lots of things in there to be grateful for, to be thinking of that. All right, Lisa, let's say cooking a part of the Turkey Day meal. Okay, cooking part of it. That's great. That's great. Anybody else? Sherry, are you cooking? Kathy, are you cooking? I haven't seen you answer my first question about if you're going to have everybody there. Oh, I go to both houses. I take stuff, but am not hosting. Oh, and sometimes isn't that nice? Being grateful that, you've probably done it for years and years, and it's nice to be able to share that, right, with somebody else. So you get to go to both houses, though. That's pretty cool. Get in that fancy red car and just drive on there, just, I just think it's one of these things. I get such a kick out of people say, oh my gosh, that's just too far. I can't drive that far. You mean lunch? I have to drive 15 minutes. Like, come on, you get in the car, you drive it, you get on the highway. What difference does it really make if it's, 10 minutes or 20 minutes? So that's just my personal philosophy. You do not have to agree with it or not. All right. So a couple of things as we get started this morning. I got to thinking about this, that, sometimes, and I know, so let me just say here in the beginning, I know some of y'all are experiencing hurt during this time. Sometimes the holidays can really be hard because, you've had friends or family who have passed, that they're not with you. Maybe you do live in different parts of the country and there's no way you can be together. So I suggest that if they're just in a different part of the country, you can certainly call them, but how about do a Zoom? We did that one year for Easter where I got every one of our family. I think that's the last time we've all been together in any form at the same time. But we did a Zoom all over, from New York to Phoenix to Vegas and Kansas City. So everybody was on for 20 minutes. It was really fun to connect that way. So if you're feeling a little sad because you're not with some of your family or friends just because of distance, you can breach that distance. And if you're, and if it's that they have passed and you cannot be with them, then you might just spend some of the time just really being grateful for the relationship that you had. Go back and I mean, kind of do a little remembering of the fun things and why, what was it? Why did you love them? Why did they make such a difference in your life? And then look at the people who are still with you. Again, whether it's family or friends, sometimes we have the family we choose by our friends because maybe we don't have family close by. Everybody's family looks a little bit different. So on the one side, somebody asked me, well, aren't you really sad because your kids aren't with you for Christmas? Even my son, again, I may have shared this, so forgive me if I repeat myself sometimes. But Justin called me, a month or so ago, and he said, so Mom, I'm thinking about going and seeing Alicia for Thanksgiving in her new house. How do you feel about that? Is that okay with you? And I said, oh my gosh, I think that's wonderful. Because I know Alicia's sad. She's kind of sad to be gone and away from here, since this is our first Thanksgiving living back here. And he said, I know it's your first Thanksgiving back, which means we'll both be gone. So how do you feel about that? Is that okay? And I said to him, you know what? The fact that you would want to do that is a gift that he is giving to his sister. Just a wonderful thing for him to go and spend that time. And then he's going to go see some friends in Minneapolis. He's leaving today and spending the week between Alicia's house and friends in Minneapolis. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that they love each other enough to actually want to spend time together, because that is not how it is in all families. But I know too that there are just different circumstances for everyone. And I want to just suggest to you to think of ways that you can be grateful. Every situation, y'all, has a way of looking at it from a positive perspective. And it really starts from gratitude. You may have all this turmoil and things that are going on, but what can you be grateful for in the midst of it? One of the things that when I was reading and looking into this a little bit this morning, I always love checking out other people's perspective. And one of the things, so it gave 3 things about gratitude. I thought y'all might like to hear this. Gratitude turns what little you have into abundance. Because whatever you're thinking of, if you start being grateful, if you have gratitude, it makes then those small things even more powerful. So those little things can turn into abundance. I think that's great. Gratitude is so much more than just simply saying thank you. It's a heart, being grateful, being thankful in your heart for whatever that is that you're being grateful for. The person, the things in your life, most times I find, especially this time of year, it really is around relationships, because aren't those the most important things that we have? And then I love this because I really believe it is so true. Gratitude changes your perspective. If we're only looking at what's wrong in your life and what you don't have in your life, you're just going to go down this negative, narrow thing and just going to slide right down into it till you're bordering on depression, or maybe you already are, or somebody who is. And just a little bit of gratitude, just finding that silver lining for, one of the sayings that we hear, but just being grateful. I was thinking about my great friend, Kimberly. Now, Kimberly passed in this season last year. I think it was after Thanksgiving, but before Christmas. And she had been struggling with cancer for a number of years. And I just still love her. But we knew each other since we were like 6 months old. I mean, our parents knew each other, and the moms had the babies, and we just grew up together. And as sad as it is that she has passed, when I think about the wonderful memories of her, I'm just so grateful to have that time. And I'm thinking about her husband, Craig, and he is such a sweet, wonderful man. In fact, talking about, I'm going to reach out to him and just let him know that I'm thinking about him. But they had a beautiful, beautiful daughter, Callerin, and Callerin, their daughter, was told she could never have children. And she had some illness things in her younger life. And really, the doctors just said, do not get pregnant. would be the worst thing for you. It could possibly kill her. I mean, that's how dangerous the situation was. That they just did. And they did have a little boy, and so Craig has a little grandson, and that whole blessing. And yes, he's going to be sad missing Kimberly, but at the same time, I know he'll be grateful for his daughter and her husband and their grandchild that they have. So I think sometimes we have to peel back the layers. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm grateful for my friends and my family, and that I woke up this morning, and those are all great. And the fact that the sun's out, although today in Kansas City, the sun is not out. But interesting. Okay, here's a little side craziness to be grateful for. It's really cloudy here in Kansas City this morning. And these last couple of weeks where it's been so sunny, I've had a really hard time with the camera and the sunshine coming in. And no matter how much I shut all the windows and the drapes in the room in my office, the sunlight would come in and really mess up the camera. Well, this morning, the camera's working great because it's so cloudy, that the visuals are much better this week than they have been for the last couple of weeks. So, we can find things to be grateful for. We can find things to look at from a different perspective. Are you willing to? That's really the point, I think, is, are you willing to find the good? Are you willing to look and see what you can be grateful to? I was reading on a little article from Psychology Today, and they actually said that gratitude leads to happiness. And I think that's true, because the more you concentrate on those things to be grateful for, when you're concentrating on that, that means you're looking for good, and that's positive. So then your life just becomes more positive. And it really, it opens up your heart and your mind to more blessings, because God has them for us. There is a scripture. Let me find it. I put it over here on my thing. James 1:17 says, every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. So our Father never changes. He is the giver of all good gifts. He is the giver of life and joy, and he can be trusted. He will always be there for you. So even when you're in a dark place and maybe you're dealing with some hard things right now, you can be grateful that you have a God, that you have a Father who loves you, and he never changes. He's not shifting around like the world does, and he doesn't lie like the world does. He is there for you solid. And then one of the others, and if y'all want to write this, Kathy, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put this verse here, and if you'll just type it in there, Philippians 4:6-8. Do not be anxious about anything. Some of y'all might have this memorized. I always remember it, but not in the right order all the time. Okay. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Oh, don't you love that? And it says, bring your prayers and your petitions with thanksgiving, bring them to God. Thank you that you are a God of love. Thank you that you never change, that you don't shift and float in and out, that you are solid and dependable. As you're thanking God, it's pretty hard to be negative, and it's hard to be whiny and all of that when you are praising God, when you're being thankful for who he is in your life. So one of the things that you think about is, what are you thankful for, and who is the one you're thankful for that gave it to you? So even in our friendships that we have with other people, ultimately that gift of friendship ultimately comes from our Father, comes from God. And, being thankful for what Christ did for us, being thankful for what he did, and that we're looking forward to Christmas and another opportunity to spend time with our friends and family. I have a great friend in Chicago, and I'm going to thank some people because I'm so thankful for them. But this friend of mine that's in Chicago, this last year, in the last 2 years, maybe even 18 months, her mother, her stepfather, who was she was very, very close to, maybe 25, 30 years, he was married to her mom, passed away. And then her father passed away in this short time. And it's been hard. That's a lot to deal with. And she was a major caregiver in all three of the situations. And she has just gone through this, and certainly a lot of heartache, but she's still looking, toward the positive of things, of how can she, be available. She's so thankful for the time. And one of the things that she said about her dad, she has some very not good things happen growing up with her dad, which I think is probably why her mom and dad divorced early. But they just had bad connection, bad relationship. And even with all of her past history, I just love it when she shared with me. She said, but I'm grateful for the fact that we were able to, bridge some of those gaps, and that we were actually talking and had a relationship towards the end. So sometimes those bad, negative things that happen in our lives can turn around. God can heal anything. And, she was grateful that they had mended some of those fences that they had, and that she was able to be part of his life at that, that time before he passed. So I think whenever we're looking at things, and if you're ever in a situation, and I'm not saying that I'm all that, and that, I have the answer to everything, because certainly knows that I do not. But if you ever have a time when you just need somebody to talk to, one of the gifts God's given me is that I most always can find the good. I can help you see your life and find just those little glimmers of hope, those little areas to look at it from a different perspective, to just change your thoughts a little bit, to see that. So a couple of ideas that I have. Let me see here. I'm going to look over here. Let's see. Yes, I need prayers this year, going through several things. I guess I don't see there. No matter what you're going through, there's always something to be grateful for. Yeah, Sherry, you're right. And sometimes it's hard to find. And you're going to be with friends, so you won't be alone. I think too, it does require us to be proactive. If you know that you're coming into a hard time, what can you do to change that a little bit? So reach out to friends. Another thing this friend of mine in Chicago is doing, because she will, in essence, be alone for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. Now, it turns out she is going to go visit some friends for Thanksgiving. But Christmas, she's decided to have a Christmas tree decorating at her apartment. She's going to invite some friends over to have whatever, hot chocolate and eggnog, and decorate the tree. Now, I thought that was just brilliant. So instead of looking how negative and how bad it is that she will be alone, she's looking for ways that can build her up, and then be a ministry to other people too, because there's, always others that need to have somebody reach out to them. So that's one thing that we can do. I think it's one of the things in this Psychology Today, and it said, more to be thankful for than to be sad. And it might, finding other ways to reach out, so that you don't just dig yourself into the hole, deeper and deeper, but reaching up and looking up and seeing what things you can be positive for. So here's a little things you can do to be more grateful. So be intentional. Okay, there's number one. Be intentional. Tell yourself you're going to find. So if you're in a place that you're not sure. Now, I know y'all out here, those of y'all that have posted your names, and I know that you are positive. Y'all are positive most of the time. Oh, thank you, Lisa. If you're feeling not in a grateful place, okay, if you're trying to find those things to be grateful for, be intentional and just say, I am, just decide. Okay, everything's a choice, right? Do I talk about that a million times? Choose to find the positive, find something to be grateful for. If you're listening or watching this show, you have ears and you have eyes, you can see. That is something to be grateful for. So be intentional. And sometimes you're going to maybe think of, and a lot of people suggest that you have a gratitude journal. I think that's a great idea. And I think, what happens with a gratitude journal, it's real easy to be, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that I woke up today. Me, I love my bed. I'm thankful for my nice bed, my soft bed. I don't know why I love it so much, but I do. I'm grateful that I can see the trees outside my window. So sometimes you may start with those general ones, because my number two tip for you is to be specific. So once you start with the general, then be more specific. What is it that you love about the sunshine in the morning? Okay. I do. I love sunshine in the morning. When the sun's coming in the windows, it lifts my spirit. It's almost like I can breathe it in. But even more, to go a little deeper, is I love the warmth on my face, even if it's through the window. It could be hopefully not 20, 16 degrees outside, but in this new house, in the front door, if I open the door, there's a storm door, and so much sun, if the sun is out, so much sun comes in there that it is so warm. There have been a few days where I just stand there and just to feel the warmth, feel that warmth of the sun. When we go to the ocean, do you love the ocean? Several of y'all do. I love the ocean. I am so thankful for the ocean and for the opportunities that I've had to stand in the ocean. So then break it down. What is it about the ocean? I love the power of the ocean. It's like I feel God's power by the ebb and flow of the ocean. I love the warmth of the sand and even the coolness of the water. The water on the Pacific is so darn cold. Even in the middle of the summer or June, it can still be pretty cold. But I love that difference in the feeling from the warm sand to the coolness of the water and feeling that energy that's pulsing. So peel the layers back. What is it in particular? So I've said before, if you go to something, you hear a good speech from somebody, or you hear a beautiful concert, you hear somebody sing or play an instrument, instead of just saying, oh, I so enjoyed that, that was great, which is nice and it's being thankful. How about if you peel it back just a little bit? Like, oh my gosh, I enjoyed your message or your speech today so much, because when you talked about la la la, it really touched me. It reminded me of something in my own life. So thank you so much for sharing that. Or if you have someone who shares in their whatever, a story that touches you, let them know. So as you peel it back, you become more grateful, and they are more blessed because you're sharing something more than just superficial. It's like, oh, I love that song you sang. Really? Okay. Thank you very much. I always love that. If you say, oh, that song touched my heart so much, I just could feel the joy of the Lord, or whatever it is. Why did it touch you? And share that. So think about what else can you be grateful for. All right. So we're going to be intentional about looking for the blessings and being grateful this week in particular. But how about we just start right now and all the way through the holidays till the first of the year, every day, be intentional about finding those blessings. Make it a habit. So every single day, and maybe having the gratitude journal will help you with that if that's not something you normally do. And look for new things. So every day you still have what you had, probably you still have what you had the day before, but maybe that today something happens that you would think of when you're going to bed tonight or tomorrow. You think about, oh, that certain little thing happened. We've met this new young man, new to us, who's an electrician. Okay. So right away, we knew we had to have some electrical things because the house was very, very dark. I like light. You probably can figure that out. So we had him put new lights in our kitchen, and they are so amazing. Every time I turn that light on, it just makes me so happy. Y'all, I can be easily pleased. So I liked him so much, I called him again and had him put 2 more of these, and they're like can lights, but they're not really can lights. And they're on 5,000 lumens, which he told me is the highest lumens that you can have. But they light up the house. It's like if the sunshine came right on in the house, and it makes me so happy. So he's starting he is electrician, all of that, license and all those things. But he's working full-time for somebody else, and he does some jobs on the side, like he did, he came over last night. Well, he's telling me about how, he's trying to expand that. And so I'm trying to be a real encourager. I said, listen, you are my guy. I'm going to call you every time I have an election thing, and I will tell everybody all about you, because he's efficient. He does a good job. He shows up. He's communicative. He lets me know what's going on. And I said, you just let me know when you get your Facebook page up or whatever, and I'm going to do that for you, because I'm so grateful to him to making my life better. Just this young man, and he's out doing his job, and he has 3 kids. And anyway, there's so many things around you that you can, for which you can be grateful, I guess would be the proper way of saying that. All right. Be intentional, be specific, make it a habit. Recognize the goodness and where it came from. Okay. So recognize the goodness and who to thank. So if something, it's always going to go back. I'm just going to say it's always going to go back to the goodness. Like I said in that verse, every good and perfect gift comes from the Father, but comes from Jesus, comes from the Lord. But who else? So let's say somebody does something for you and you want to be grateful for that gift that they sent you or gave you. Being thankful for that giver and then who gave that gift to you. Again, it's kind of the layers thing. It's like, yes, thank you, for bringing me this new friend or this new electrician that I didn't know before, because he was a referral. So he was a referral from a lady that I met this summer, one of the real estate agents, as a matter of fact. And so I'm thankful to her for sharing that referral and ultimately for God bringing her into my life. So again, see, if you take it a little further, then your heart, what happens? I mean, me just talking about this, y'all, it makes me so happy to share the good things that happen. And I want that for you. I want this week to be one of those weeks where, as you're thinking about all your blessings and the things that are happening around you, that your heart swells. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. One of my favorite verses of encouragement. So always remembering, and I go, oh my goodness, we are at the top of the hour. So let me just finish up here in that I am very thankful for all of you. Some of you have been with me from the very, very beginning, and you're so faithful and you show up every week. And I'm so thankful for them, because that is what encourages me to keep doing it. Because it's like, sometimes talking into the screen is like, okay, is there really anybody out there? Am I just talking to myself? But I know you are, and it blesses my heart, because my goal is to always encourage and uplift you, give you something that makes your day maybe a little bit better, or help you think about something from a different perspective. Because when we're looking for good, when we're looking at what God has given to us all around, it can bring happiness. Gratitude is happiness. So what does gratitude do? It helps us to be content with what we have, being thankful for what we have. And that doesn't mean you can't be reaching for more in your life and all that, but be content and thankful for where you are. It helps you to be more positive and looking at things from a positive, glass half full and not half empty. You cannot be depressed if you're being grateful. And you can't be negative and you can't be fearful. If you're being positive and grateful, you're not going to be fearful, because who's got you, right? God's got this. You don't have to worry about it. Don't be anxious for tomorrow, as the scripture said there. You are happier. You have increased. Now, scientifically, it says that gratitude increases levels of well-being. Okay, levels of well-being. So look at where you can find more places to be positive, where you can find more places to be grateful, even if it's just a little tiny thing, because sometimes the blessings are in those little small things. The fact that you woke up this morning, I'm thankful for Zoom, because if it wasn't for Zoom, we couldn't even have the next best thing to being live in person. What I like best, if y'all were in the room with me here and we could give each other a great big, just a big hug or a high five or whatever you wanted to do. But sometimes it's just the little things, technology, the fact that we can FaceTime. I get to see Henry almost every day because Alicia will FaceTime me. Those are the blessings that we have. And sometimes we don't really think of them that way. So let's see, Sherry. Well, I'm glad you could be here today, Sherry. If you want to reach out to me personally, do so. I'd love to chat with you. So thank you for being here and sharing so openly. I love that. Everybody has hard days. Nobody escapes it. And I think sometimes we have to stop and just be intentional to focus a little differently because that'll help you turn that around in your life. So, and when you know there's a hard day coming, then try to anticipate that by making, making a plan to be with friends or to do something that you love or be with someone that you love, whatever that looks like. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that word. Thank you so much for being here. Have a happy Thanksgiving. And remember, you guys, life is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. Choose to be thankful. Choose to have gratitude in your heart, and you will have a wonderful, blessed holiday. That's what I wish for you. Love you. Thank you. And I'll see you next week. Bye now.